Hello, everyone. Happy Monday afternoon. I hope that your day is going so well. My cat is right in front of me, so you may hear her yell at me on occasion throughout the broadcast because she enjoys making her presence known. I'm Dr. Heather Nelson, vocologist, and I am your personal pedagogy professor. And I am here to talk with my friend Phyllis, I just saw her pop up, so hopefully I'll get a way to bring her on in just a second. But we were going to talk when Phyllis joins me. We're going to talk about her studio and her work as a performer and as a total dominator of the TikTok. I'm really excited for that. Okay, let me see if I can bring her on. Okay, here we go. Hi, Phyllis.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Absolutely. I'm doing very, very well, thanks. It's normally when I go live with people, which isn't that often, but it's very rare that I actually go live with someone in my same time zone. It's usually East Coast or West Coast.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a lot easier to get on. Hey, Michelle, how are you? All right. Well, I want to honor your time very, very well as I can, because I know you're busy. You still have a Christmas tree, or is that a Mardi Gras tree
It's
behind
Mardi
you?
Gras tree.
How fun, because you are in Baton Rouge, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So, would you mind to tell us a little bit about your studio and the clients that you serve, and kind of what's going on in your studio right now?
Sure. So my studio is comprised mostly of musical theater kids. They're now, I've been here for long enough that they're now kind of like eighth grade all the way through 12th grade. I have six graduating seniors this year, which is really exciting because I've never had that many seniors. Although sad because,
Sorry,
we have
my
to
cat
give
just
our.
jumps through everything.
Oh, you know what? My cat may show up too. She's sleeping right now, but sometimes she'll hear me talking, and during a lesson, she'll pop in and yeah. So I have about 30 students total, and I also have actually three associate teachers. One is teaches only virtually, and then the other two come in person after 6 p.m. and on the weekends. So when I'm not teaching, they're teaching. And like I said, it's mostly musical theater. We prepare a lot of students for auditions. We work on their audition books, and then I have some really great avocational adults that come that just want to improve on their singing voices, and will work on any and every type of genre that they want to work on.
That's really fun. So I've been kind of watching you from afar as you've been like bringing on associate teachers, and it's really exciting to kind of see how your studio has been growing, so that you have a need for that, but that you're also really like pouring into younger teachers, so that they are able to learn from you and become better teachers. So that's been real fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been an adventure. I can't say it's been the easiest thing, but the ones that I have hired are a good 10, 15 years younger than I am. And so it's been great to just share the resources that I already have for them.
I know. I wish I had that when I was coming up. I did a lot of practicum work just on my own,
Yeah.
just like sitting in professor studios watching what they did. And it was so, so valuable. But I never really had like what I would call a mentor. And I wish that I had that, but if I ever have the opportunity, I would love to be able to do that for younger teachers too, because it's so important to help out and give folks a little bit of a leg up if possible. There's no reason why we have to do everything all by ourselves.
I agree, 100%. And then they're also really good mentors for me too, because
Absolutely.
I'm older than them, and then they can teach me some of the more younger kind of hip things that I'm not aware of.
Great, because like I am fun, but I am not cool. Like, so like all of the trends and stuff. No, I have no idea.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like to pretend that I'm cool, but
Right. I am so not. But I'm okay with that. It's like I'll leave that to other people. That's too much pressure for me.
yeah.
But But speaking of cool though, you have like when TikTok came along, like you hopped on that train so hard and so fast. And I have not done a thing with it because I can't, I don't have the brain space to learn one more thing right now. And I tend to be a late adopter of almost everything anyway. Like I'm a total Luddite when it comes to technology. But I would love to hear how TikTok has benefited your studio because I've heard you talk about it before, but I think you have a lot of insight that maybe some other teachers might not have yet because maybe they're like me and haven't jumped on that train.
Yeah, I mean, I jumped on the bandwagon only, I want to say it'll be 2 years in February. And I joined literally during a lesson because one of my students was like, you need to be on TikTok. And she grabbed my phone and created the account for me. And then she insisted on being the first TikTok. So like if you scroll all the way to the bottom of my profile to the very first post, it is literally my student. And actually, I think another student, their lessons kind of went right back to back and they knew each
Mhm.
other. So they did a TikTok dance. And then it became this like thing where it was like a prize, like, yay, you had a great lesson. Let's make a TikTok. Like that's what it was. And that's all it was going to be. And then there were a lot of people asking me to sing. And I was like, I don't really sing in the public very often unless I'm well rehearsed. But then Playbill.com came up with this like Playbill challenge where it was like your favorite Broadway song, your favorite this, da 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 da. And really you were just supposed to be posting like a clip from a show or like the name of the show or whatever. But I was like, I'm gonna actually pick a song from whatever the topic is and sing that. So if you scroll again all the way down on my TikTok to like really old videos, it's me singing unrehearsed, unpolished. It's not very good, but I was like, I'm gonna do this month. And then I gained some following from doing that. And then the pandemic happened and I got a little less camera shy. And I don't even know when I first posted like a singing tip, but somewhere in there I posted like my favorite vocal warm up and it started to pick up some traction and I was like, huh, there's something there. And so I just once a week would do like warm up Wednesday and post just
Mhm.
my favorite warm ups. And then people started asking me questions. And as they started asking me questions, I started answering them. So then it morphed into an account of a lot of singing tips. And it's slowly, they talk about niche in TikTok. And since I'm a
Mhm.
musical theater person, lately my niche has been helping people find audition songs. And my newest thing, I started on January 1st, musicals A to Z. I'm listening to one soundtrack a day,
Yeah,
alphabetically
I saw
according
that.
to Wikipedia. And so I listen to the soundtrack and then I make a little video, less than 60 seconds, talking about what I liked about it. And I'm tracking it on a spreadsheet so I can go back and use it for my own
Wow.
studio because there's a lot of hidden gems out there and it's been really
Mhm.
great. So that's it.
Yeah, when you started that project, it got me thinking too because uh like I'm a singer, I'm a singing teacher. I don't listen to music all that often. It's really it's just there's something about it, kind of like music is my job, so like sometimes I like to not listen to things that are my job. But it was kind of a little bit of a kick in the pants for me that like I should do more listening because I like music and I'm in music for a reason, So like I'm trying to figure out kind of my own process. I don't know that I'll do the A to Z um, uh, musicals like you are, but boy, that's one project. Heck of a project, and I'm really excited to see how that like manifests for you because I agree. There's so many hidden gems out there, and we tend to like hear just the very 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 top things that are shared all around, and we miss the real good stuff sometimes.
Yeah, there's a lot of Broadway flops out there, and I've already listened to a few. And I'm like, okay, so the whole show is not great, but there are some really great songs in here that I could give to a student. Yay!
And that's fantastic for an audition because you know you're gonna walk into an audition and you know you're not gonna be singing On My Own for the 18th time, you know. You know, so if you get something that's maybe a little more off the beaten path, you can, you know, make an impression with your audition panel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. So beyond TikTok, though, like I know you do some Instagramming and some Facebooking and stuff like too. How much, like, how do you fit that into your day with all of the listening and all of the stuff? Like, how do you, like you mentioned that you've got a spreadsheet for the musical listening and stuff, but how do you actually fit it into your day? Because you got a lot going on, girl.
I do. I mean, a schedule is 100% needed. So literally my calendar, I have to write when I'm working out because I work out every day. So I put my workout on the calendar. I put my breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the calendar. So I know how much time is allotted for that. I have alarms that are set that remind me to do these things. And so I have 1 hour of admin time built into the morning. And then I have 1 hour of social media / admin time in the afternoon. Usually the admin time in the morning doesn't take me a full hour, so I can do a little bit of social media stuff there if I want, but that gives me about 2 hours a day geared towards social media. Now, in 2021, I was going live on TikTok 5 days a week, and so part of that 1 hour of time was allotted for TikTok Live. So then I only had like 1 hour admin and then 1 hour of TikTok living. And
Yeah.
it gets a little exhausting. I love the people that I meet on TikTok Live. The same people start coming back. You get to know people, which creates relationships, creates
Yeah.
students, things like that. But it's so much. So when I got cast in a show, when rehearsals start, I told my TikTok people in a video, I'm not going to be going live every day, but I'll let you know when I come back. And so I'm going to come back soon on a regular schedule, but it's probably only going to be 2 days a week. And then 1 day a week will be allotted to probably Instagram Live. So it'll be less, but it'll still be on the calendar so that I can do that. And then any day that I really need the day off, most of my followers understand if I don't go live.
Right, because you know we are human beings behind the screen too.
Yes.
Yeah. You mentioned, you know, getting over camera shyness, or I forget exactly how you said it, which, you know, I think a lot of people that are not performers would assume that, you know, if you're a regular performer, going on camera should be no big deal, right? But it totally is a deal because it's a totally different thing. And
Yeah.
so, how did you do that for yourself?
I think having such a great following really helped. It sounds crazy, but the encouragement that I was getting from the people that would comment, I mean, because they would comment how much they loved my videos. They would comment about how they loved my personality, how they would love to work with me because they think I would be a great teacher. And they would give me all this positive feedback. And so it gave me more motivation to go ahead and make 3 to 4 videos every single day, because that's how you gain a following, is by posting regularly. And so again, I got alarms set. My students, if any of them are watching, know that I have alarms set. So if I'm doing like a makeup lesson that isn't during like a normal time, the TikTok alarm will go off and they'll be like, why does that say TikTok? I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to post a TikTok right now. And so now it's a big joke in my studio. Like whenever an alarm goes off, they're like, oh, Miss Phyllis has to post a TikTok. It's not always that alarm, but that's the joke now. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
that's what I've
Yeah, I
become.
think too, at least for myself, like when I first started doing videos, which I don't do a ton, you know, I tend to do more static, you know, photo posts and stuff like that. But when I first started doing videos, I would do them over and over and over until they were good enough. And then
Yeah.
I got to the point where it's like, well, I would do them until I thought they were perfect enough. And then nowadays I'm like, okay, good enough is good enough. And so it's like it may not be perfect. And yeah, I may do a couple of takes on some things, particularly if I think it's something that's going to stick around for a while. But I think doing it over and over, or doing it enough kind of cures you of the perfectionistic streak, because sometimes you just got to get it done.
Yeah. Well, and this is why, so TikTok is great. And now, of course, on Instagram, we've got Instagram Reels. What's so wonderful about it on TikTok, not necessarily on Instagram, but on TikTok, they your imperfections are acceptable. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a little piece of your own personal life. So when I create a video, sometimes, okay, they're gonna all know. I'll post like in the morning when I first wake up with my glasses on, or after a workout where I'm sweating and I've got my sweatband on. I'm just like, oh hey guys, na 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 na, and because I'm like, oh, I could do a real quick one, yada da da da, and they don't care that I don't look perfect, right? Where like if I go to an
Hmm.
audition, I got to get all made up and make myself look pretty, but on TikTok, they don't care.
I think too, just kind of watching how you've done it, like you have like figured out how to talk to your audience, and you're drawing in the people that are drawn to your studio, drawn to your brand and your business, and that has been really fun to watch too, just because you are yourself, and like you're not trying to put out that image or whatever, but it's drawing people to you in a way that feels very authentic just to kind of watch it from my perspective.
Oh, that's so kind of you, because I really am just trying to be me and not, and again, not be perfect. And I
Mhm.
worry all the time when I give like a singing tip when somebody has a question and I'm like, oh, try this exercise, and it's like a filmed thing of try this exercise when we know it's a lot easier to try the exercise in person and it may or may not
Right.
work, so then we try another exercise or whatever. So whenever
Hmm.
I like say try this exercise, I get all concerned that like other teachers are watching me and going, no, don't do that. And so I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
oh, please, please, please. It's okay. I'm just giving you like what I think I know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a real thing too. This um, yeah, teachers can get both territorial and hypercritical sometimes. So, but being able to keep doing it and keep putting out stuff because, we're I'm preaching to myself here a little bit too. It's like we're not our audience is not necessarily other voice teachers. Our audience are the singers that want the help, and so
yeah.
if it helps them, great. We do just encourage them that yeah, we're gonna keep throwing spaghetti at the wall till we find what sticks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely. Now, you also mentioned that you did a show in November, December. You did Elf, and you had some fantastic pictures that you posted. But tell us a little bit about just how you add in performing into your schedule as well, and maybe a little bit about that show because
Yeah.
I think it sounds real fun.
Oh my gosh. First of all, I saw Elf on the national tour years ago. It was like the first national tour. I went to see it. And when I saw it, I was like, this is, I love the movie and this music is fantastic. And this particular character, Emily Hobbs, the mom,
Mhm.
is totally like the type for me. Like, I'm going to play this role one day. I am. So when the opportunity came to like audition for it, I legit went in and was like, yeah, this is the part I want. Yeah, this is it. You don't have to give me anything else. This is the part I want.
Mhm.
And so I did it. I was like, woohoo! I am Emily Hobbs. I knew I was. And so then I had to kind of readjust my schedule, obviously, because I had rehearsals and I also had I had to have time to memorize my lines because Emily is
Mhm.
principal role, so there's a lot that goes into that. So some of my admin slash social media time turned into, and this again is why I stopped doing TikTok lives every day, was because I needed to focus on character development, memorizing anything that's acting oriented towards the show. So I really, again, I was doing like an hour of admin, but then an hour of rehearsal in my own space to prepare for my part.
Mhm.
And then rehearsals, because the way I've scheduled my lessons, and the reason I brought on associate teachers is because
Right.
my lessons end at a certain time that allow me to get to rehearsal in the evening. So yes, I know when I'm going to do a show that it's going to be a load because I'm going to
Mhm.
teach and then I'm going to go to rehearsal. But I know that that's happening, so I just kind of breathe in and say, all right, I can do this for like a month and a half. We'll be good.
Right. Do you like include your own rehearsal time just as a regular part of your day? You know, whether you have a show or not. Sorry if you can hear my cat yelling at me. Um, uh, so she really wants to go outside today, and it's still snowy and gross. Um, but do you include regular rehearsal time into your schedule, or do you mostly just kind of like pair it up when you have shows or auditions coming up?
So right now it's not scheduled, but
Mhm.
last year I decided that I was going to kind of work a little more on my acting chops.
Mhm.
And so I got an acting coach, and I worked, and actually we did a trade, we did an exchange. So he was my acting coach and I was his voice teacher. So I
Fun.
had to pay a cent,
Yeah.
because he would teach me, I would teach him. And so we would meet once a week, during the same time, just like singing lessons, and work on the acting side, whatever it was I needed. So if I was in a show, we'd work on the character development. If I wasn't in a show, we'd work on sometimes improvisation. We would work on, he'd give me a small scene and we'd work on that. We worked
Mhm.
on, I mean, because we weren't meeting in person because again, pandemic, even though he was local, we worked on camera stuff because we were on Zoom.
Oh,
So we were able
so
to
smart.
really think about film and television and the how different it is from doing a stage show, and kind of focus on that, which
Mhm.
was really cool.
Yeah, that's super smart to work on that. Especially, I mean, gosh, how much stuff are we doing on screens anymore? And a lot of that is not going to go away. Like, because I think, you know, one of the first of all, the pandemic would have been much, much harder to deal with as far as the technology is concerned. Like even 5 years ago, we would not have had the technology to do what we do right now. But so many schools, from what I'm hearing, are like going to stick with a lot of on-camera auditions, even more than they did before. And so having like screen skills is super important for a performer nowadays.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it's so much different, like I said, than being on stage, because it's like
Mhm.
just that one shot. And so if
Right.
your eyes wander at all, we see
Hmm.
that. Whereas on
Yeah.
stage, when you're farther away, if your eyes accidentally wander, we don't always see that.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a whole thing, and I'm hoping that we as voice teachers get a little bit better at that, you know, for ourselves because we're teaching on screens, and we need not necessarily acting chops, but a little bit too. You know,
A
we
little
need to
bit.
be able to interact with people, but you know, to prepare our clients well, because you know, this we're stepping into kind of a new era in voice teaching as far as you know what I think anyway. So I'm curious, both from the like how you have taken on social media. This is really kind of the same question asked twice. How has that, you know, doing the social media, but also being a performer, how has that made you a better teacher?
I think, again, many of my students are musical theater performers. And sometimes we forget what it's like to step into an audition room, or what
Hmm.
it's like to have to memorize a lot, or what it's like to step foot on a stage for an audience for the first time. We forget about that when we don't do it. And
Hmm.
so, I mean, I've only allotted myself pretty much one, maybe two shows a year. So it's not like I'm doing it regularly anymore.
Hmm.
But I think every time I step foot on stage for a rehearsal or just an audition, I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, that's how it's done. And so then when I have a lesson with somebody who is preparing, I can kind of see myself and say, oh, you know what? I was just at an audition and this happened. So maybe we should think about this, this, and that. Because now my brain is like, that's how it's done. Because every
Right.
theater is different too. So you have different experiences everywhere to take in.
Right. And trends do change. Like, you know, the audition culture that, you know, was 15 years ago is not exactly the same as it is nowadays. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think too, and this, you know, I mostly do like choral music. I'm a professional chorister, so I'm not doing a lot of musical theater. I haven't done that in years and years and years. But if I were to step into a music theater audition, I'd want to talk to somebody like you who has done it, so I don't walk into an audition and commit some huge faux pas just because I don't know. But being prepared for that is super helpful. So another question, how has all of that stuff made you a better business owner?
So, I mean, it's called show business. So as a performer, you're always working a business side and marketing yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
by getting myself out there and marketing myself as a performer, I'm actually implementing the same kind of business things into my own personal business of teaching lessons. So what is it that's working, that's allowing me to get cast in shows is not just I had a great audition. It's the way you enter the room. It's the way you speak to people. It's the way you leave the room. It's like an audition's like an interview, right? So same
Yeah.
thing with your business. When I have a brand new student come in, how am I going to talk to them? How am I going to respond to them via email? What are my social media posts going to be like to kind of influence people to want to come and be a part of my studio? Like what am I going to do to be cast in a show? Like it's the
Mm-hmm.
same idea, just put into a different perspective, so I can apply both and make them strong.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I think you're doing personally a great job. So it's just, just kind of watching how you do it. It's real fun for me.
Oh,
And I
thank
do
you.
some things along the way too. It's like one of these days maybe I'll start a TikTok, when I get the brain space to figure it out, because I think there could be some benefit, even for myself, to help expand my audience and be able to reach the people that I could serve.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about TikTok in general. So they have like the For You page. So what happens is if you're like watching enough videos and liking enough videos of things that you want to see more of, the For You page is going to build something for you, and you're going to see more of the same face on that For You page, which
Mhm.
in my case is a lot of musical theater singers right now, which I love hearing. And then,
Mhm.
TikTok loves doing duets. So I'll duet it and I'll talk about what's going on in the song and why we like the sound and how to find that sound. And so it's kind of, it's trendy, but it's like you find your audience and they find you because of that For You page. So it really is finding those people that are like your people. So like the people on TikTok, they're my people.
That's really exciting. All right. Well, is there anything else that we haven't talked about yet that you would like us to know or to consider?
Oh man.
That's
I
super
just
vague.
think I just want to like reiterate that like scheduling, like having a scheduler, and I'm not a big digital person. I have like a book, and every day
Me
I
too.
write my schedule. I'll do a weekly schedule and then it changes as days go on. I love having it written on paper, but I think it's
Mhm.
really important as a performer and as a business owner and even as a social media influencer to really schedule your time so that you don't
Mhm.
get worn out and you don't
Yeah.
get exhausted and just done with everything. Like you really, I had to tell that to one of my associate teachers recently because her schedule is insane because she's working in my studio, but working during the day in another
Mhm.
studio space where she's got like 30 some odd students already. And I'm like, you're going to come to me and
Yeah.
teach after school and you're going to be exhausted. I'm like, breathe for a second. You don't always have to be here. Like
Mhm.
schedule because, and sleep. I mean, if you have to put
Yeah.
sleep on your schedule, do. Like I have, again, on my phone, my alarm goes off and says, "Are you going to bed yet?" Because if I'm still up at a certain hour, I shouldn't be. So it's like turn that TV off and go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm working on my sleep schedule right now too because it like got super duper off. Like, in November, part of it was just, life happened and whatever. But yes, I'm working on that.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
hard.
It is hard. And I have found too, just especially speaking of the scheduling thing, like I've had to really had some stern talks with myself that if, yes, I could put it on my schedule, but if I put too much on my schedule, that's going to be a different kind of overwhelm. And so being picky about what I say yes to. And I know as a younger teacher and a younger performer, it felt so scary to say no to things. I didn't really feel like I could. And so, I'm kind of now, as an older person, learning how to say no to things in a way that really honors my time and honors my mental space and my heart space, so that I'm not, just operating out of overwhelm all the time.
100%, yes.
Yeah.
That is exactly it, because yeah, when I was younger, I said yes to everything. When I started my studio, I was like scheduling people wherever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and I was like, just because I need to make some money,
Right.
and now I'm like, no, boundaries. I can schedule it when I want to, and I can say no. It's okay.
Yeah, it's real scary to do it first, but it is so liberating when it comes to, when you finally get to that place like where it's not so scary. It's really liberating.
Exactly. That first time you say no, you're like, I did it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is why we need to mentor our younger colleagues so that we can help them get to that place, I think, a little faster than we got there.
For
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Phyllis, how can we follow you? Give us all your handles and stuff.
Okay, so for the most part, my handle is Phyllis Sings with no spaces, nothing, except for Instagram wouldn't let me do that. So I had to put Phyllis.sings. And then my Instagram was connected to my TikTok. So my TikTok is also Phyllis.sings. But in general, if you just search up Phyllis Sings, you'll find my website and you'll find all of my socials. So put a dot in it if you have to. Without the dot, you'll still find me.
Awesome. And definitely you should, like, if you're watching, you should definitely follow her to get all of the stuff about the musicals that she's listening to. Because, like, I know you were kind of moving through the numbers at first, like 1776, which I love. I love that musical. It's so hilarious. But, I think very clever writing. But what musical are you listening to today?
My Name is Alice, which also has two sequels, but I'm doing all three in one. You'll find out why when I make that post.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope that you get maybe some more followers and some comments and questions and stuff that you can interact with people. And you've obviously got fans because there's been a bunch of people coming up in the comments saying hi and saying that you're awesome. So that's real fun. But I appreciate you spending some time talking with me today. It was super fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you for inviting me. I'll do it anytime.
Absolutely. And I hope you have a wonderful Mardi Gras season. And that tree behind you is super cute. Maybe you can, have you got like a close-up picture of it anywhere in your socials yet?
I posted it last year, but I haven't this year, so I should take a picture and do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I am all about festive decorations. It's real fun.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I will let you go. Thanks again for talking with me. And thank you, everybody, for watching. If you're watching on the replay and you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and we will do our best to answer. All right. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, you too.
Bye.
Bye.